Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PEC, the Power Esports Conference. After a nice little winter break, we're here to kick off the spring semester. My name is Braden Chevry Leonard, or BCL in the esports world, joined today by longtime friend Alex Grondin. Alex, welcome to the world of esports casting.
Thank you so much. My name is actually Spitfire.
Oh, the gamer tag.
Yeah,
I
that's my
see.
gamer tag. So feel free to add me.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome guys. Today Syracuse is taking on Kansas in Overwatch, and hopefully SU's gonna be able to pick up the win today. Now, we talked to the head coach before today's game, and a couple notes that he wanted to talk about was Syracuse's mental state right now. He feels that is the most important part right now for Syracuse. They kind of had a rough first semester, went on over break, did some work over the winter, and are feeling a lot better going into this game. And he feels like that's their biggest strength. However, kind of counters that because he also says they are extremely calm and that can come in. A little bit of an issue can happen there when they're getting into brawls and when they're getting into heavy combat fire.
Yeah, this is a team that finished the first split 1-4, so definitely wanting to do better. But this is a very, very close team, one of the closest we have in our program here. On this main stage for the first time in our gorgeous new facility, the Gaming and Esports Center at the Shine Student Center just opened last Friday. So nice and new, getting to break in the stage for the first time are these players and hoping to start a new chapter in their Overwatch journey here. Now, the entire season of PEC comes down to the end when every team qualifies for the playoff in Las Vegas, Nevada. I know these guys are excited to go, but it's all about the seeding and trying to come in the upper half of that division. And right now, 1-4 is not going to do it. So how can they finish this spring split, Alex?
Well, I mean, look, Syracuse is going to have to do a couple of things. First off, dive is definitely what they're best at, and they're going to need to make sure they are winning those situations. And when they get into brawls, they're really going to have to compose themselves, but not be too calm, as Coach said before the game, and make sure they are able to put in some damage, and if they need to, keep their distance. One of the things that we mentioned earlier is, as you said, their record 1-4 right now. Trying to make it better going into PEC in the seating and stuff like that. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but this is a game not just to get 2-4, but also to have a better mental state going into next week's matchup against the Ohio State.
The Ohio State football national champions, we might add. But enough about that. Going into the spring semester, we introduce hero bans. So that plays a big factor in the strategy of both of these teams, trying to ban heroes that are maybe overrated, as we see Hazard getting banned on the side of Kansas. And that's the new hero, but because he's so new, he's a little overpowered. So we're going to just remove him from the picture. We're coming back to Overwatch 2 from the fall semester and kind of that composition. And Q's going to go ahead and counter with a Juno ban. Going to really play into the support picks there, basically forcing both of these teams to play Lucio. Lucio, a hero we saw Syracuse do a lot of in the fall semester.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, kind of talking a little bit why they banned, what is it, Juno, you
Yep.
said? Yeah. Was because the ultimate is just too powerful for them to handle. But yeah, no, I mean, Syracuse trying to kind of force them to play Lucio if they want to play support, but they do feel confident enough that if they do, and if they are to play Lucio, they're going to be able to outlive them and damage them enough.
Certainly, because Hazard's going to be out, we are most likely, and by most likely I mean 100%, going to see Junker Queen, a favorite of this Syracuse Orange squad, going to come in and try to take over with that pump action shotgun that she has. And we're going to go up to the stage and take a look at some of these fantastic Orangemen, again, competing in our varsity program here up on the main stage. So this is a mixed team in terms of where they are in their college careers, but it all comes down to the big man, Azer, the captain. He is truly the X factor and a junior here. Oldest player on the team, tied with some of the other juniors like Emmy and the actual coach, Sneaky. And then it's the freshmen, the two freshman sensations in M3 and Saint. They're really the up-and-comers, the future of this program, and 2 players that I remember when you were talking with Sneaky earlier today that he really praised and said have transformed this team.
Yeah, no, especially talking a little bit about Saint. I mean, Coach mentioned before the game, excuse me, that he really was able to find his way into this Syracuse team, and really has been able to play his role of support incredibly well, helping Syracuse, especially in those moments where they might not be getting that extra kill in brawl, or they might not have the distance and poke to get that extra damage, and he's been a real help for them.
Exactly, and we're going to be loading into the game very shortly here. Antarctic Peninsula is going to be the map we start on, and I'm saying Cuse has the advantage here because right outside of these walls we are in the Antarctic Peninsula. Very, very cold today. In fact, my hair was actually frozen walking to class this morning after a morning shower. It's brutal out here.
Yeah, no, it is frigid temperatures here in Syracuse, about 13 degrees, 0 when I left the class this morning.
Not so fast.
But as you mentioned, the really last year, Syracuse lost this 2-1. Have better luck.
I've got you. Hello. Hey. Railgun charge, hold it.
Situation, but he's isolated. That's unfortunate. Gonna be 4 down for Syracuse.
Hi.
Yeah, rough start. Syracuse has to do their best to keep composed, and if they have to keep their
Hello. Hey.
Well, one thing Kansas is going to have to do, as you saw from Syracuse there, they were trying to find their one target and just kind of take it down. Kansas did a good job for a moment there. They're not able to close that distance out. Job that round. So just gotta compose yourself, get back out there. Try to get control of 79% right now. So they're pretty close.
Hello. Exactly. This is one of the using that dragon sword.
Hello.
80% can those Kansas players come off of spawn and get back into the control.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, that
Not
was
so fast.
that over there. using the sword, getting right in there, and getting some damage done, really helping out Syracuse here. Really tight.
It's go time.
Let the keep going. I feel a warm inside. Just by some time for the reckoning.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
Your first round. But Lunar, is there anything him and Azer can't do? The guys are hyped up on the stage. What a start.
What a fantastic performance there by the Orangemen. Really able to come down to the wire there. And look, I mean, they were at 99% there for honestly what felt like for us, and I'm sure for them, a few minutes, but in reality, it was just a few seconds there. And Azer and Lunar able to team up there and able to help out SU.
Is Vishkar doing research on me or something?
I am intrigued by how the sound moves behind my eyes when I listen.
Oh, that's because it's binaural. Glad you like it.
Hello.
With that commanding
Hey. Hello.
Might be the difference.
Hello.
What? One round to nothing in this first round. We'll see if they can take the 2-0.
I got you.
They're going to capture this point and start the progressions, but again, looks like we're going to have a match pause as a potential timeout, or
I think it's a disconnect on
A
the top right
disconnect.
there, yeah, for one of the KU players.
very interesting as, again, we're getting back to the PEC for everybody here. These PCs haven't been used in a little while, so they may have needed to take a break themselves. But what were the main things you saw out of that very first round and back and forth? We saw Cuse kind of take over in the beginning, start to look a little bit scary. 100 to 97 is not a big margin of victory.
No, not at all. And I mean, look, Syracuse got out to a decent start for a few moments there, and then KU really came in, getting those supports, getting those heals in, and really able to march back. But then, I mean, really, it was the work of Azer and Lunar in that round was spectacular, and they were able to find that first win. But one thing you mentioned earlier there about the new PEC and the PCs, literally, whatever, this is one thing Coach talked about before. In a new facility, you kind of got the best of the best stuff. I mean, when you look at it from for the player standpoint, and especially the coach mentioned before, there is some weight on your shoulders here when you have this new facility and you have the best of the best equipment. Excuse me. There's not really going to be many excuses coming out from these Orangemen. They're really going to have to dig deep and really do their best to get some eliminations here.
That's been a big focus of our program recently as we cut to those players on the stage, is getting these teams in as soon as the facility opened and getting used to it. We want this to be our home court and have that home field advantage, but the players also need to feel comfortable. We've had our Barnes Center where we broadcasted out of in the fall a little bit, and those players have been used to that. That's been there before I got here, and I'm in my third year, whereas this just opened the other day. Yes, it's going to be an advantage for these players, especially when LANs come around here at the university. But as of right now, still a little shaky and getting used to having a face cam, having the lighting on you, and all those things. I know that's something that my team has certainly struggled with. But so far, so good. Technically speaking, perfect record on the main stage for Syracuse Overwatch right now.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But no, you kind of mentioned having those face cams, having the new facility and stuff like that. I mean, these are the kind of things that when you're younger, whether you want to be in esports, whether you want to be in sports, this is the kind of stuff that you dream of, having a crowd in front of you, having all these lights in front of you, and that is what they're getting today, and they're delivering so far. So hopefully they can keep on doing that throughout the rest of this match whenever we're able to get this boy going on again.
As you mentioned, not the same result, at least in the beginning, from their matchup with Clash of Clans is being shown on the main stream by one of the players up there. But Syracuse lost 1-2 to on Control last semester. So technically speaking, nothing is really given yet. They've scored one before. It's really getting that second one to move on to map 2. Which in theory could technically play into Kansas's hands depending on what map they want to pick for map 2. But again, we haven't gotten there. This is still round 1.5, if you will. Syracuse leading 2% to 0 as we still work through this disconnect. But certainly it's great to be up 1 instead of down 1, but it's not over yet.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, look, I touched on this a little earlier, but I mean, getting this win this round is absolutely huge. You always want to start your games off well, and especially when they lost 3-1 last semester. I mean, you kind of want to, yes, they can get that one win, and to your point earlier, okay, I guess nothing changed even if they were to get this one win, but it's about starting on the right foot. Syracuse had a rocky semester last semester, so you want to put your best foot forward, moving forward, trying to get your best seeding moving in to April.
Yeah. How about that Genji gameplay we saw? I mean, absolute crucial ultimate usage and played perfectly in popping 3, helping with 4. And that's something we saw out of both sides, really getting 4 down and having that 5th player kind of retreat and try to play their life. Ultimately, sometimes successful, sometimes not. But the idea of what I mentioned earlier, that candy cane colored kill feed where it goes, red, blue, back and forth. That's something we didn't really see a lot of in terms of the ultimate fights. We saw some intermediate, maybe off the point, but especially with this dive and rush that we've seen out of Syracuse, kind of that hybrid style of gameplay right now. They're taking out the support, and then they're going for everybody else. One thing that surprised me, at least in the beginning of this match, that hasn't hurt Syracuse too much yet, is the first person to fall was M3 in terms of, or excuse me, not M3, it was Saint on the Kiriko falling right off the bat. I thought that would have broken down the fight, but ultimately came out on top, got initial control of that control point. And again, we're still going to have to see what the rest of this round holds, assuming we can get everything back and running soon. But that was something that once those healers fell, at least in the first round, it all fell apart. But while we work through that, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, as Syracuse and Kansas will be back after this. Looks like we are getting back into the action very shortly here as all the players are in the lobby. Coaches giving their final last-minute adjustments as we will hopefully resume right where we started. It's the beauty of Overwatch. You're able to just pause and get right back into the action when everybody joins back.
Hey! Let's do it fast!
Breaking them down.
There they are. Get ready. Get them off the objective.
Efficient. Hello.
Good to see you. Follow through.
Hello.
All wanted is fight. Fight.
Boy.
Ready to go. The Kitsune
Yo.
What's up?
ability, health, speed, all of that good stuff. As it unfortunately looks like we have another disconnect from the side of Kansas as Syracuse had 79-0. But that is what you want to see. Maybe potentially you're a little flustered if you're Kansas with the disconnect and things of that nature. But certainly they really couldn't get anything going. You had them up top in that building, just waiting as Syracuse was kind of lined up all around. And of course, that was where they were pushed up on the map. So you might have had all the dive. We're going to do it. They went for it and went 4 down. So.
Yeah, look, I mean, really, really rough start for KU coming back from that disconnect. But looking towards Syracuse, looking at the positives from what we just saw there, I mean, they are absolutely dominating right now. Using those dive compositions, rotating together as a team, playing as a team. At one point, I saw Azer, M3, Speed Glasses, all getting kills, really working as a team together and really showing off who they can be. And they're, like I said earlier, they really are putting their best foot forward in the start of the second semester.
Good
here.
stuff out of Saint there. Of course, we saw him maybe get the final blows on some of those eliminations. Saw him in the kill feed a lot, and obviously as a support, that's not something you're really expected to do. We saw the Lucio playing a little bit more offensive as well, but overall, final blow or not, helping out your teammates wherever they need is pretty essential. And what's even more essential is Saint has that ultimate ability of that Kitsune rush, like I mentioned, and that's going to just enhance all of his teammates' abilities and things of that nature. If Kansas is able to take or regain control of this control point, that's going to be something we're really going to see as they try to try to break back into that point and regain control. That ultimate, I guarantee, is going to come in, and who knows what they could match it up with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, talking about Saint for a second, of course, he's using Kiriko, and we talked about how he's able to have that long-range ability. But also on top of that, really good at dives, and that's, again, like I said, the main thing this team has been really, really good at. Unfortunately, if they're going to be getting into brawls, that's not going to be the best character, best hero, for him to use, because not that great on the brawl side of things, but really able to help out this team so far.
Exactly. Hey, we're back from break in terms of school, but maybe not in terms of the technical side of things. Don't go anywhere. This match is still coming up right after this.
Yeah. Yeah, look, and the thing about what Coach told us before this is Kansas played Syracuse's scrim opponent in the past week, and they absolutely demolished them on the map that we're playing next, which you mentioned is Eichenwald. So KU, with that time to maybe recompose themselves, kind of get back in the flow of things, and going into what is probably their best map, it could be happy days for them, and Syracuse is really going to have to dig deep on this one.
But if not, see how far you get, and the other team's going to try to counter that. Syracuse, I'm hearing on defense here first.
Yeah, 100%. And look, Syracuse going into this round going to be a little bit different, as we are going to see a switch from Saint on Kiriko switching over to Anna, which is his best character.
Yep.
So they might have messed up there a little bit on the KU side, but we'll see if that's going to be enough for Syracuse to be able to kind of break down the fact that KU is really good on Eichenwald.
Yeah, KU going to ban that Kiriko, as you mentioned. Cuse coming in with the Orisa ban. So a little bit of a meta shift there, but not too much anything drastic. Potentially that Kiriko ban could have come in because of that three-piece we saw. Obviously, the support's not going to do it themselves, but something we certainly saw in that first round that you and I were both a little eye-opened on, and being like, oh, okay, support, pop off, go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, the thing is for these guys is, look, I have no doubt in my mind that KU does know what they are trying to do here. They know exactly what they want to do in pushing Kiriko out of the way there. But yeah, as you mentioned, we'll get right back to the action here.
Exactly. So you can see those hero changes just a little bit here, as Syracuse is going to try to defend the team of Sinks, Swirlhawk, My Dog Died, what a name, Thinking, and Ashton right there. And the team I'm mentioning going to come out on top pretty early here, and now the emotes are going to come out from Lunar, who is playing Hazard, a new hero to our composition, but one we highlighted early on. We did not see him in map 1, but taking over in map 2. Now, Alex, this is a hero we're going to want to pay close attention to, especially on a mode like this. This guy can truly do it all with these bone spurs.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, Hazard, as we talked to Coach before, could be a little bit overpowered because of how new he is to the game. So we'll kind of see how that pays off here for Lunar and Cuse.
Exactly. Kansas taking over. They controlled the point, now working with the payload. Azer on his preferred character, Genji, gonna work in but then fall, and now Syracuse falling apart altogether here. Lunar gonna try to get out with his life, not gonna be able to, as Ashton with that Tracer gonna chase after him and get that. Tracer, another character that anybody watching comp Overwatch is familiar with. Tracers, or very talented tracers, can really take over the entire game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ashton uses this character, and if Ashton's able to turn the tide for Kansas.
Yeah, 100%. Kansas really using their tank well there, able to take a lot of the damage there. And, I mean, we talked about it beforehand, and it is showing right now. Kansas really good on the cycle one map.
Exactly. So far, so good. And the deflections are going to come out from Azer, but it's too little, too late right there for the orange. A little back and forth here, but again, you're going to get to that checkpoint if you're Kansas, and it's all good so far. A battle going to go down right here. Again, Lunar staying up, being the last alive with Hazard, and Hazard is going to return it back to his spawn. Not too good of a start for Syracuse, starting on the defensive. Maybe a little iced overall going into this second map after that technical timeout.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, they definitely had all that momentum in the first one. But look, if you're the Orange Men, you got to do your best to keep your heads held high, because you do have to understand, okay, hey, you know, I know this is not the mentality that you love to have, but if KU is able to pick up this win, you have to understand, as for Syracuse, that you really just got to dive deep, and also remember the fact that it is just the second round of this game.
My dog
and it is
died.
their big match.
My dog died playing Sigma, it looks like, on this map and taken over. That was a 3-piece and now 1 right there. Azer trying to take over with his ultimate ability with that Dragon Blade and trying to hop all over the place, eliminate that Sigma who has really just been taking over. Fortunately for Cuse, he's going to go back to spawn, so is Thinking, and you have a little bit of space to breathe right now if you're Syracuse, but back is up against the wall, and you got 4 minutes to try to defend, just very little space.
Yeah, I mean, look, Q's really has to work collectively as a team, rely on Azer, rely on some of their best guys, and you work together as a unit.
Exactly. Looking back at Sojourn right now with Speed Glasses, nothing new from Speed Glasses. The player of the game early on in the fall, and you can see why. Just that elite aim out of him, having that ultimate ability if he wants to use it. Both of the other abilities are out and going to need a recharge right there as
Azer pick it up too there as well.
The rapid fire is coming out, opting not to charge up the blaster, and now Azer going to try to take over with the Tracer. Like I mentioned earlier, Tracers can really change the game. Speed Glasses is a nice shot right there on Thinking. And again, we said with about 4.5 minutes left, you have very little space to defend. Getting a little more space as they push this back a little bit. And now basically 1.5 minutes off of that point. Another fight going the way of the Orangemen.
Absolutely. I mean, look, Speed Glass is absolutely shredding guys right now, using that range, doing a terrific job, trying to help Syracuse win some of these gunfights and hopefully survive the next few minutes here.
We're seeing heroes change on the side of Syracuse mainly as they go back and forth depending on space here. Going to see a Winston come out for Lunar, getting off of that hazard. But unfortunately, Azer going to fall, the X factor for this team. Going to need to get back in the fight immediately, but Speed Glass is going to fall as well. The Winston, like I mentioned, coming in with a kill. M3 going to find one. Saint going to find a third. And Syracuse is coming back to life, pushing this further and further away as the time continues to tick down for the Orange. So far, so good. And they're jumping around, taking the time. Comms are furious up on stage. Ryan, the coach, sneaky, not looking too satisfied with his team. However, they are able to hold on through really 3 waves of fights so far. Let's get into this 4th one.
Here we go here now. Syracuse doing their best. They had a really good collective effort there in these last couple minutes, trying their best to get back here. As we see Azer on the attack right now.
Right here is Azer with that Tracer. Tracer v Tracer in the corner. One of the most exciting but stressful fights to watch as both of them rewind and go back to where they began. But now Winston here. Lunar going to need some help. Speed Glasses with a little bit of extra health on his side. The immortality right there. Going to find 2 with the fantastic ultimate usage by this entire team. Lunar going to pop his as well. Backhands flying against the other team. Has him in a corner, but wow, Winston gonna fall right there. My dog died taking over, and oh my goodness, Kansas coming back in this one. Azer eliminates the other Tracer in Ashton, but it looks like Kansas is gonna come out on top on this one, slowly moving it forward, but Cuse calming down. Kansas backing up, looking to hit once more as a team here. Speed Glass is playing up top and trying to get out of the play, just poke a little bit right there, but he's going to fall. M3 able to help his teammates out and find 1. They're going to find 2 with Lunar. And let's see what Hazard can do right here. The Hazard is back out for Lunar. Low health on him. Azer going to find 1. Azer continuously trying to make a difference for this team, but he's going to fall. M3's going to fall. Lunar able to find 1. Speed Glass is able to find another, and it's going back and forth in this kill feed. Ultimates being popped by both sides. Tracer going to try to get out of there with 1 shot left, and Lunar able to get it from long distance on a 5 spree. Lunar keeping his team in this match.
Absolutely. Lunar and Speed Glasses this round have been absolutely phenomenal. They're trying to salvage anything that they can get right now. And yeah, no, Lunar's been fantastic.
Yeah, the Lucio out of M3 has been consistent. Saint switching now to an Ana. Speed Glasses, as we mentioned, going crazy with the Sojourn. And Azer just doing a little bit of everything. The Hazard's going to get isolated right here, and Fall himself, Saint with the Ana, like I mentioned, just trying to heal some and deal some damage as well, as M3 going to come in on top, pumping it up in there, trying to save it, but round one's going to be complete. That's going to be 100% out of the Kansas side.
Yeah, look, Syracuse did come back towards the back half of that game, really back third, I'd say, of that game. But look, for KU, when they had a great start like that, I mean, it's just going to be too much for the Orange with the handle. I mean, the Jayhawks came out just absolutely blasting them, killing them as much as they possibly could, constantly sending them back to spawn point, and really just pushing that Syracuse team back. And I mean, as you mentioned, it seemed like Syracuse started to play a little bit better when they had actually less room to work with. But unfortunately, that's not the case for all the game modes, and sometimes you're going to have a lot more map to work with as they did earlier on, and they were just not good enough against the Jayhawks in that first round there.
As it got desperate, you saw Winston come out to play and kind of jump onto that payload, try to save it a little bit. A comp that's not super sustainable, so you saw the team kind of break down after that Winston was out. You definitely had a hole where you had to stop playing preventative at some point when you got the team wipe, and they survived about 3 or 4 team wipes, so great from there. But on offense, you're going to need 67.73 meters. Certainly a long way to go on offense, but we've seen Cuse take over and get a flurry of kills off of each other. And one of my favorite characters is coming out to play, and that's Azer on the Widowmaker. The sniper character here going to grapple up top and immediately try to go for some kills right there, but going to return to spawn and reset right here. You got Ana as well with that long-range weapon, so it seems like Syracuse is going to try to play some distance and then eventually get going with the hazard right here. Lunar up in your face, deploying the spikes, blocking that, and this block is actually going to produce damage as well. That's part of the reason it was banned in map 1. You definitely don't want that coming towards you, but Kansas looking good so far. Ashton going to find the kill on speed glasses, take some space for his team right now as M3 tries to amp it up, back up with his team, and hit as a group here.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about those technical difficulty breaks for Kansas, but really working well for them, and they're able to work collectively as a unit much better. As we saw just moments ago when they got to 6-7-7-3. So Syracuse, a lot of work left to do here, but we'll see if Azer and company can help them out here.
A thing to add is on that map 1, because of the technical timeouts, it was a forfeit win for Syracuse. So up 1-0 in this series, 1-2-0 in the control via forfeit, and now we're on hybrid where Tracer and Azer are going ham right now. They are trying to get something going, but it's the battle of the Tracers right now. Azer and Ashton, the showdown in the middle of the map. Thinking gonna come in and eliminate Azer, but Ashton gonna get traded out, and now it is high noon as they are brawling in the middle of the map, gun for gun right now, as they wait for their Tracer to respawn and try to back Syracuse off of this point.
Yeah, no, Syracuse doing what seems to be a little bit of a better job so far in their early moments of this round. They're really going to have to keep it up as we see Azer lasering people right now.
Absolutely. Tracer again coming in close. Azer is just one of those players who consistently gets in your face. A little bit of a health boost for everybody on Kansas. He's going to need to do a little more work here, but he's going to isolate that one player. Going to rewind a little bit. Let's see if Junker Queen can help. Misses on that that pullback, and eventually going to dash forward. Finds one with the help of Azer. Gonna find another. Lunar has that takeover ability as we've seen, and it looks like Syracuse successfully going to capture this payload, and now it's time to start working forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic play there by Azer in the end, getting that 5-kill streak. Syracuse really working together collectively as a team there, and now they're getting this vehicle moving here.
We're seeing Juno out on the map and making a difference immediately. One thing we obviously didn't see last map with that ban, but so far so good. And Cassidy, also one of my favorite heroes to use with the high noon ability, but not great so far for Syracuse. As 4 are going to go down there, Sinks helping out with the Lucio, able to get the final blows on some of those players, and now Azer is looking for his friends. He's actually going to start to take a fight here. Just try to play a little bit annoying, poke at you a little bit, get on that payload, and here comes the backup. We got another fight right here. Azer working his way in behind enemy lines, and now Saint's going to work forward with the Juno, but fall, thinking an Ashen able to combine on those. Sync's going to find another one. And Speed Glasses false. Lunar able to find something himself. Azer working on a 5, just trying to stay alive, playing that life super well, getting that health pack, emoting a little bit for us on stream, and has that ultimate ability if they choose to use it. Taking this right lane, his entire team's on the left, and it looks like we're going to see some type of pinch play here. As again, Azer just such an annoying player. It's like the Brad Marchand of Overwatch players, if you will.
Yeah, no, and look, I'm sure that there are some other players out here looking at Azer and feeling a little bit scared because he's been on an absolute tear. No, playing absolutely fantastic right now. And the interesting thing about this, not only this map, but most importantly this game mode, excuse me. It's a lot different from what we saw before, early go in round 1, which feels like about 20 minutes ago now. Where it's a lot more open space, had a lot more time. And this, when that payload starts moving, they do have more time, but some of these fights are at a lot more close range combat.
Ashen playing that Tracer extremely well, and it seems we're always talking about Ashen or Azer, the A's on the Tracers. And now Saint gonna back up and try to get out with their life as they try to inflict damage at the same time. Thinking been a pretty crucial player so far. Speed Glasses, nice shots right there. He's gonna back up and continue to rapid fire, but eventually fall to My Dog Died, which again, just what a gamer tag out of
Yeah,
Kansas.
That is something, though. But he's been on a tear this round, too. I mean, he's been doing spectacular so far. A huge part of the reason as to why Kansas was able to get so far in that first round.
Sync's also popping up in the kill feed a lot as that Lucio, getting the damage in when needed. Some might say that's surprising, but you really got to let that sink in. I'm hilarious. Sync's low health right now, though, as the brawl continues. At about a quarter of the way through this path, the payload needs to go. Going back and forth, but favoring Kansas so far in this fight. Swirlhawk gonna find one, and again, Sync's gonna eliminate Azer, and that's gonna be the entire team down for Syracuse, having to respawn, reassess what they want to do here. Saint gonna change heroes as well as Speed Glasses going into this next one, so no more Sojourn right there, and no more Juno out of Saint. So a little bit of a different composition right here. Let's see what they can do with it. Calling out on the fly, and it looks like they're not going to do anything. It looks like it's going to be another team wipe for Kansas, and this technical pause has reinvigorated this team, and it's looking deflated on the stage right now for Syracuse. The mouths are constantly moving, communicating what they want to do, but the shoulders are not tense. They're kind of leaning back in their chairs and wondering what's going wrong here.
Yeah, no, I mean, this has got to be a very frustrating and frustrating situation for this Syracuse team. But look, Syracuse has just really got to do their best, in these moments where they are flustered and they are frustrated, and they know that, truth be told, they're probably going to go into this next round. It's probably going to be a 1-1 game, and so they're really going to have to reconnect, rethink, and just try not to get too into their head over this loss.
In overtime, desperation time for Syracuse. They have one person on that payload. The rest of the team opting to play up top bridge with Ash kind of leading the way on that attack. Lucio giving them the support they need. Has the ultimate ability if he chooses to use it. Just going to amp it up here to increase some of that damage on the players surrounding the point. Speed Glass is going to fall. That's a big first blood right there. As Junker Queen going to see what they could do. Lunar going to bash forward, but bash off of the point, and so overtime is going to run out. KU is going to take this map too.
Yeah, no, huge game from KU there. They did a spectacular job picking up map number 2. And look, for Syracuse, it could be feeling a little bit of kind of like the same last year, where they are a 1-1 split through the first 2, and so they're really going to have to do their best going into this map 3 and map 4. But what sort of things are you looking forward to for Syracuse in this next map in order to try to secure that victory?
Yeah, you have the game mode of push. I don't exactly know what map they're going to pick. We didn't We didn't talk too much about that early on in our interview today, but it's something where the coach is talking to the players right now, very animated and trying to work on a way to get out of this kind of slump that we saw. We really didn't see anything going. You got about a quarter of the progression to on offense for Syracuse, excuse me. Whereas Kansas, yes, they got stopped at about halfway and just a little bit towards the end there when they had about 57 of the 63. But other than that, the defense for Kansas was dominating. And there really wasn't anything that stood out other than solid team play across the board. But as you asked, what am I looking for in map 3? I'm looking for a little more from Speed Glasses. We saw him really pop off in map 1, a little bit more quiet in map 2, and potentially that could be the difference in the results.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier about KU and just overall great team play. I mean, we saw towards the end they squad wiped like 2 or 3 times. And not only is that going to provide them a huge boost of energy, can't feel good on the Orange men's side when your team gets wiped like 3 times in a row.
Yep.
On the positives, though, we did see a 5-kill streak out of Azer a couple times as well. So hopefully we can focus more on that pushing forward into map 3.
There are specific scenarios in which the Tracer pick works, and that's something we've seen Azer very comfortable with his career here at Syracuse, and especially Overwatch 1. I mean, you use Tracer 24/7. It's just what you do. Overwatch 2, a little less usage, especially with some other heroes coming into the competitive fold, and we even see, the Tracer coming in specific times in map 1. But when Azer's on the Tracer, it's great news for Syracuse. However, he found that one-on-one matchup with Ashton from the Kansas side of things, and that Tracer played really, really well as well. And then my dog died, like we mentioned. It's interesting name to say, but really popped off, especially on the second half of that second map.
No, look, my dog died was doing a terrific job
Yeah.
in that second map, as you mentioned. But it almost kind of felt as if at times, especially towards the end of that second map, that Syracuse were just changing heroes, trying to get something going, trying to change something, trying to get something going positively for them, and it didn't really seem to work too well. Maybe got a couple extra kills, maybe we were able to push that payload forward a little bit more, but really didn't make too much of a difference, at least what I saw in the end. And so I think going into this third map, whatever hero ends up being banned, you just got to take that as you will and kind of move forward and just try to be like, okay, hey, let's put our best foot forward. And for our players who can play with their best heroes, let's stick with that because we know that's what works. I mean, that is exactly what we saw work in that first round. They picked their best heroes and they had a phenomenal game.
I think the thing overall is the ineffective Juno usage. You ban Juno in map 1, and maybe Kansas gives up on that and says, okay, we're going to let back in, and then Syracuse uses it to little success. I understand it's more of a support, but at the same time, it was constantly in the wrong side of the kill feed. As we're going to load into map 3 in just a little bit here. As we mentioned, it's going to be push. One of the more lopsided, at least in my Overwatch history, modes, where you just got one side that just goes all the way. I haven't seen too much back and forth. In the college scene, in PEC, I have seen some, especially when you have a team like Boise State using the wrecking ball from time to time. But overall, it's usually one-sided. So we're going to see if Syracuse, after talking with their coach, after talking to each other, getting the fist bumps going, if they can come out strong here, maybe they can continue that momentum into a pretty quick round here.
Yeah, hopefully Syracuse can find what KU found in their 10 to 15-minute break and see if they can get some momentum.
Exactly. Going to load in just a moment here as the hero composition looking pretty similar right now. Saint is going to be on Ana like before. Lunar's going to come right out of the gate with Winston. And Speedglass is back on Sojourn, it looks like. So Let's see if Lunar can lead the pack here as Winston to try to get into the bot and go ahead and push forward, if you will. Gonna try to look for some long range, just a little bit of damage, try to set the tone a little bit earlier, just be a little bit annoying as they continue to get healed by, I believe it would be Anna. And then this is exactly what we wanted to see. We see Azer on the Tracer. However, Ashton again going to counter, so that's going to be a one-on-one we want to continue to look at. And KU going to start with Ashton, pushing the robot towards the side of Syracuse. Going to see what Azer and company can do to counter that.
Yeah, no, as you mentioned, that Tracer-Tracer matchup with Azer and Ashton, I think that is going to be something that really determines who is going to win this map. Two of the best guys on the map right now, and we'll see what they can do as Lunar try to pick up some kills right now.
Exactly. Big notice right here is M3 off the Lucio, whereas Sinks is staying on the Lucio. M3 going to go for that Brig instead. So we're going to see if that plays a factor in the support side of things. Lunar and Azer going to find two right there, able to find some momentum with the robot right here, getting it back to that middle point. And see what they can do here. Eventually taking the lead now, going past that 12-meter mark. And Speedglass is just pre-firing a little bit of everything, just trying to get damage as these players come out. And finding some success right there, especially with the healer right next to you. Saint able to drop one to sleep. I believe he put Hazard to sleep. Getting stuck though, and he's going to fall, and I can hear the comms even through the production booth right now. Azer especially leading the charge, trying to get the guys going, and we said Speedglasses had to show up. He's going to find two. Lunar with another one. My dog died. Again, that essential player on the side of Kansas finding one, but still, so far so good. Great momentum going forward, nearly doubling the progression that Kansas found in their first wave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Syracuse doing what feels to be a much better job early on in this map 3. And as you called on him earlier, Speedglass is doing a fantastic job. Azer doing the job he is supposed to do as the captain, as the A-star.
Yeah, Azer getting the opposition to about half health, but both of them going to rewind and regen. The ultimate, the primal rage out of Lunar, really cornering the Lucio up in the corner, getting some height and finding the kill. The pause of the Winston really doing damage there, and I haven't really seen them corner a support like that up in the middle of the air. Really cool stuff, really cool aerial tricks. I didn't think this was Rocket League, but hey, we saw some aerials.
Yeah, no, absolutely spectacular job. But look, what Syracuse needs to do is rely on their best style of gameplay, and that is going together as a team, trying to target one enemy opponent and just absolutely demolishing them down. And that is kind of a little bit of what we're seeing right now, is they're kind of all in the same area together, and they're really fighting together, and it's really helping them out right now.
Brig going forward with that barrier shield, and also hopping out with the melee and the rocket flail. As Tracer v Tracer gonna go the way of Ashton and co, and that's a team kill for Kansas. They're bringing this robot back to middle of the map. And now with the momentum on their side, Syracuse on their heels, going to try to amass the 53-meter mark and try to take the lead in this one now. Syracuse, how are they going to respond? Close little stairways here. Tracer going to back up, and Azer going to back up as well. So those Tracers are just countering each other one for one. However, Azer does have the ultimate in his back pocket where he wants it, instilling damage on the Lucio right there. Eventually, Lucio going to hop away in sinks. And Hazard, really one shot, absolutely squishy, and Azer not going to be able to get him until he does. That's 3 down. M3 getting the final blow on that with the Brig. And now if you are Ashen, you got to back up. You got to try to get out with your life. Sync's going to fall. Axon not going to be able to. And thinking really the main guy up, but he's going to back out and get away with his life as Speedglasses and co start moving forward once again.
Yeah, no, I mean, terrific job there, though, a little earlier on there by KU. They were at 17 meters, getting all the way up to 37 meters, so a really, really good effort there. And that is what a squad wipe will do for your team. If you can get a squad wipe and you can gain all the momentum, you're going to be able to push that ball forward.
Yeah, Saint gonna fall right there, but a huge sleep on the Hazard earlier in this one. as now Lunar has that Primal Rage again if he wants it. Probably going to wait for a bigger team fight, going to use that leap forward and try to get the kill on thinking he'll be able to. So Genshi not able to get out with his life right there. But again, the ultimate storage right now, the ultimate economy, you have 3 of your 5 players with ultimates. Saint must have just used him as he's only at 5%. Azer working his way up, but on the side of Kansas, not only do you have momentum right now and pushing that bot forward, you're about to have all 5 ultimates in just a little bit here. So something we really want to see as we get towards the 3 or 2 minute mark of this match time. Pretty much even across the board in terms of progression, but not in the kill feed, as that's going to be 3 down for Kansas.
Yeah, no, Kansas, as you mentioned, though, the momentum was a little bit for a moment there shifting towards their direction, and as you mentioned, they will have all 5 of their ultimates very, very shortly. So that is something that the Orangemen have to be aware of. And right now, playing a little bit of defense, kind of hanging up right there, hanging out, waiting for KU to come down.
Yeah, Brig gonna lose the shield right there, but no harm, no foul so far. As we're going to get into another fight right here, and it's looking good for Kansas. My dog died finding 1 on speed glasses. Let's see if Lunar can stay up as the tank he is. 2 right there, M3 and Azer. Saint going to fall, though, as we got more Primal Rage out of Lunar, bullying this Lucio as he did earlier. Up into the corner, that's going to be 1. Is he going to find the other? Primal Rage out, but going to use a little bit of electricity to try to help him out as we're getting closer to the 100-meter mark for Syracuse. Looks like they're going to get there on this push unless Kansas has something to say coming down the street right here. Robot going to turn and run. He doesn't want any part of this fight, but Azer certainly does, pushing up into their front as M3 going to get rid of that ultimate ability, use that bigger shield, help out his teammates, and it worked. It was not in vain. Azer going to find 2 on Swirl and Sinks as those guys go back to spawn and try to get back before this robot reaches its final destination.
Well, Swirlhawk and Thinking do both have their ultimate, so that probably is something that we will see in the dying embers of this match.
Certainly right, Alex, as again, we're trying to turn this corner. Advantage to Kansas as they have a little bit of the high ground right now. Lunar saying, I don't really care, is going to get pulled back in. Sinks able to get the final blow on that. Ashton trading the opposing Acer. So Speed Glasses right now kind of in no man's land, working over M3, having to retreat as Kansas is getting aggressive here. They're going for the kills. The Dragon Blade gonna find 2 out of Thinking, who's been relatively quiet in this one so far. Speed Glass is getting dropped right there, so you have no real long range options other than Saint, who's mainly the support, so not too much damage coming from there. And now Kansas moving forward, reaching that 50 mark. Can they find more?
Yeah, no, KU really is going to have to do a terrific job here, trying to keep the momentum on their side, trying to get that bot on their side, but Azer and Saint both have their ultimates now, and Lunar and Speed Glasses on the way versus Sphinx. He'll get his in a second, and Ashton already has his, but 2 other players below halfway to their ultimates right now.
My dog died playing with Orisa. Gonna fall right there because Speed Glasses is back on his kind of business, but some big touches out of My Dog died earlier. And again, backed up into a corner, not a place you want to be if you're an Overwatch player and you have Azer coming at you. However, the Cuse team needing to bring this robot back to where it was last pushing, which was at 113, and now the Orisa's going to come around and flank here. Let's see if they can get anything going. A little bit of a surprise hit right there, but is it the smartest, as you're going to give Lunar another ultimate, 3rd of the match so far. He's going to find 1, and he's just going to pop it on them. He's going to make his way back, find the Ashton, excuse me, the Tracer, and is he going to find another one here? Flying away is Orisa and co, as he will trade out Speed Glasses, but Lunar has taken over the 3rd Primal Rage we've seen in just a few minutes here.
No, Lunar's been absolutely spectacular and has definitely been, I would say, the MVP for Qs in this map right now. He is one of the big reasons as to why they are able to push that bot. But KU's coming right back. They are not going to go out without a fight here.
Yeah, you're going to have 2, and as I finish this sentence, probably 3 ultimates on the side of Syracuse, where you got 1 nearing a second for Kansas. So looking good for Syracuse. However, the objective point going towards the Syracuse base. They're going to need to get that bot, turn them around, as we are pretty much out of match time here. So it looks like we're going to go into overtime, and these fights could not be bigger. Kansas is moving and moving fast, having 2 people on the point, and now it's contested 1-1. It's all going to come down to these fights. Let's see what Azer and co can do. Lucio in the corner, gonna heal himself up as Azer's gonna rewind and take a higher route. Gonna get some shots in on the Orisa. The Brig having to back up, using that heal right there for her and her teammates, as M3 controlling that character. Speedglasses maintaining that range, has the ultimate if he wants it, but just gonna use the space advantage that they have. They have about a 20 meter lead right now, so Speedglasses and co just trying to hold that back line and looking for the kills to eventually end this game. Kansas still moving forward. Orisa going crazy. Speedglass is under half health, but the support is backing him up. Not enough, though, as my dog died finding one. Azer trades. Azer gets another one, and he might just save this game for Syracuse. M3 helping out as well. You can hear the comms, and you can hear the guys getting up and rowdy out on the stage, as they're going to just barely win that one with the final fight. Azer taking over, Alex.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Lunar and Speedglass is doing so much damage towards the end there, especially Speedglass, excuse me, using that distance. But yes, when it all came down to it, guy of the match came right in. Azer did a fantastic job at the end there.
Relatively quiet game out of thinking, but gonna get rewarded with the play of the game, using the ultimate and eventually finding a little more damage, some assists, and another kill overall. Azer and company fired up on the stage. I heard them as if they were right next to us over here. Really great way to clutch up, and it was really the middle of the map where it was tied at about 50, and then they just opened that up, getting to the 100 meters, and really strategically playing at the very end there, where they said, okay, 20 meters, that's pretty close. They're at 98, we're at 113, but they didn't try to force the kills. They said, this is our line, we're going to stay here, hold that, and they were able to find the kills. Tracer comes around the right, does the rest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned it there, spot on. They knew they kind of had that 20-meter lead, and they were like, hey, if we rush this and we push this when we're not fully healthy right now, we might end up just choking this game. So what they do, they kept their composure, stayed behind that bus for a second there, got some more health, and then went out and finished the job. A terrific job by Syracuse there. They're going to be going into this 4th map with a 2-1 lead, something that did not happen for them against Kansas last year. They have the upper hand now. And for Syracuse, you're going to want to finish this one out right here, right now. Because ultimately, especially with that forfeit round 1, quote-unquote technical, I'm sure that there can be excuses coming from the way of Kansas or Kansas fans if they want to. So Syracuse, you want to make a statement right here and get this victory, finish off this game.
Exactly. In a fight, you never want to leave it up to officials. You want that knockout blow. And let's talk about for a second the tale of 2 maps. That was a different Syracuse team from map 2 to map 3. Just domination on the 3rd map and icing up when it mattered, whereas they couldn't get anything going, and the defense of Kansas was the talking point in game 2. So what do we really expect in this map 4? Do we know exactly the identities of these teams? We've seen lots of heroes. Lucio being a consistent one on the side of Kansas. Maybe that shifts, maybe that doesn't. Seeing our first Hazard gameplay, just so many things we just saw, and a very enjoyable game of Overwatch.
Yeah, no, look, overall, Syracuse has done a pretty solid job so far. That loss in Eichenbold was kind of expected, because we kind of knew that KU had that map on lock. That was their best map by far. So really what I will say about that, though, is honestly I haven't seen enough out of KU yet. I mean, they won and they dominated that one map, sure, and it did come down to the wire there at the end. But Syracuse kind of had control a lot of that game, especially in the first one too. They had control for the majority of that as well. So the only time I've really seen KU push collectively as a team is in that Eichenwald. But on the bright side for KU, they do got some players in there, like my dog died, like Ashton. They really do got some fantastic players here, and they're gonna have to work together as a team, as they did in that second map. in order to try to pick up a fourth map win here and push to a game 5.
Yeah, I've been loving the Tracer battle between
Mm.
Ashton and Azer. Azer, of course, the captain of this team, a junior here at Syracuse University studying information management and technology. Him and I go back. We live in the same apartment complex, so I see him in the halls, try to talk a little bit of Overwatch with him from time to time. But being one of the captains here since I've started here, he has a really, really great culture in this team. They eat together. They watch VOD in person together, something that some college teams aren't able or aren't willing to do. He's taken this very young and new team and transformed it into something great with the help of his coach Sneaky, who has that tier 2 experience. This team finished top 64 in a big tournament earlier this year, and that's for a reason. They were one of 2 PEC teams to do that, and the coach Sneaky, as you can see, animated as ever with that notebook, is a big reason why.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk a little bit about Sneaky and about Azer, excuse me. This is the reason why this team does have such a good mental state and does have such good morale. When you're doing things collectively together, when you're working together, when you're talking together, it's not just when you're behind that PC, it's when you're out and about during your daily life. When you're doing homework assignments for class, because you're working a double life here. When you're doing all these different things, if you're doing them as a team together and you're spending time as a team together, you're really gonna bond a lot more.
Yeah, have you been enjoying the esports experience so far, Alex, today?
Yeah, definitely moves pretty fast pace. I was watching the Chelsea game the other day, and I probably could have fallen asleep during that game. Yeah, there was 4 goals, granted, but I think I saw speed glasses kill about 4 people in about 30 seconds. So a lot faster pace here. But no, I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm glad to be a part of this esports world.
We got Flashpoint here, and Syracuse looking to come out and start swinging, wanting to end this in 4, not go the distance in 5, maybe even more. So we'll have to see what Saint and company can do. Saint back on the Kiriko, all right, so we can see that. We got Genshi, Azer, no more Tracer right there, and no Tracer out of Ashen as well. So some new heroes in the mix here. We're going to see what happens. The Lucio seems to be remaining the same, both supports being mirrored, but overall, it's going to come down to Azer and what he can do with the Genshi. We've seen, I believe, Lunar play it before in this one. Azer opting for it right now, getting behind the enemies, bashing forward, now deflecting the dynamite back at them, but my dog died. I'm going to find 2 big ones right there and take this initial point.
Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned Azer on the Genshi. It's something we saw earlier on in the first map, and he did a terrific job during that. Saw that dash attack a couple times there, so see if he can utilize that, not only to force his teammate back even more, but just trying to gain some room on them.
Yeah, my dog died pulling out the Sigma a little bit earlier, but going with the Orisa from here on out. Health bar getting a little bit low, as Junker Queen has been a hero we've seen a lot of today. Azer, again, just getting behind the Orisa and getting annoying. Orisa needed to look at 2 things at once, but if anybody can do it, it's going to be my dog died, as they surpass the 60-point threshold here for Kansas. Lunar trying to back up and get out with his life. He's going to be able to do that and regroup with his team here, as thinking, just trying to be annoying in the back. You have these dives that are going in on specific people, like my dog died at M3, able to clean it up there, and Lunar and co trying to take over before it surpasses the 100-point mark right here. Not sure if they're going to be able to. We're getting to 99, and now overtime. This kills going the way of speed glasses, and co gonna miss the projectile right there for Lunar, but eventually able to take the point and eventually claw their way back from 99-0 so far at 20 right here.
Yeah, there is absolutely no room for error for this Q's team if they want to pick up this first flashpoint. So let's see what they're going to be able to do. They're going to have to play a good bit of defense here, and that's a big strong point for KU is their defense, as we saw earlier on in that map number 2. So we'll see what they can do here for Syracuse.
Saint playing a big role, using that ultimate, the Kitsune Rush, to help out his teammates' abilities. Another missed Jagged Blade right there from Lunar. So 0 for 2 in at least what we've seen, but he's going to push this player out right now. The Genshi trying to back up, but Lunar able to take over and help out his team, thinking gonna fall, and they have space, they have time, and they have the ultimates for Lunar and Speed Glasses right now. You got nothing on the side of KU but a dream and maybe some disciplined team hits right here. Pre-firing at the doors. This one's gonna come down to the last second, maybe even overtime. 99-99 working into the final battle on this part of the map so far. Lunar finding one, M3 helping him out with both. That's going to be 3 down, 4 down. Kansas back to spawn.
Yep, this should be it right here for Qs. They're able to take that first flashpoint. Good job from Syracuse, going down 99-0, coming back to get that flashpoint. That, I guarantee you, is going to be a moment in this season the coach is going to refer back to. When you're down and out and you come back and you're able to get that first flashpoint, that is absolutely huge. Syracuse just a few minutes away here from potentially picking up win 2 of the season.
Only using the Junker Queen ultimate as well from Lunar, so Speed Glass is still having that in the back pocket. Only one on the map with it, and he's just going to continue to beam this Orisa. This guy must be in aim labs all day, every day. I haven't seen him miss a shot, and he has the movement as well. Might need to recruit this guy to the COD team after this one, but Lunar working with his team to help. Gonna slash right there and corner one, but Kiriko gonna get out with her life right there. These Lucios are all over the place, and Syracuse has done a good job to shut them down, but not good enough right there, as it's going to be a team wipe this time for Kansas, and they're going to take the initial time, which they did on the first flashpoint, so that doesn't mean anything. But so far, so good for Kansas in the second leg.
Yeah, but look, despite the first leg for Kansas, both times were great starts. They were able to pick up that first flashpoint and try to tick the percentage up. So they're going to keep on trying to do that right now. What they just got to do is that if Syracuse is able to gain back control at all in this second flashpoint, they're really going to have to work back because they were at 99%. And I'm sure the KU coach is probably was upset about that first one there.
Yeah, M3 gonna fall, so the support not looking great. Saint on his last leg with the ultimate in his back pocket. Azer getting close, and Lunar's gonna fall, but if anybody can do it himself, it's gonna be Azer. He's just gonna sit in a corner, wait for his team, and try to get this one before they reach that 100-point mark. About 20 seconds away from doing so. Could be another overtime, as we saw earlier. This is a round where Syracuse broke last time, so having ultimate in the back pocket, almost 2 if you're Syracuse, but here comes thinking with his, and he doesn't care what I have to say. He's going to find one, however, get traded, so maybe not an ultimate used to the best of its ability. My dog died, going to find Saint, so you only have 1 healer up for Syracuse, and you have control of the point. So now we saw it earlier with a last second come in from Cuse last time. They did it again here. Are they able to have the same result?
Yeah, well, we're really gonna have to wait and see on this one. But Syracuse trying to do a little more of what they did last round when they got possession of the point. Excuse me. But we'll see what they can do. They're gonna have to defend like heck. Excuse me, in order to get this win.
Azer really using that deflection, eventually using the ultimate to no real avail, but he is able to get some damage, let his teammates clean it up. Him and M3 working together to eliminate 3 Kansas players off the map, getting ever closer to going up 2 here. Speed Glasses, seen a lot of him. Now we're going to get some Lucio gameplay, see what the support looks like for Syracuse. M3 able to get some eliminations on the board here, going to get stuck by the opposing player. Ashton playing a little bit of distance right here while thinking, and my dog died, probably going to get more up in your face, but Lunar trying to pull one in. He'll successfully do that, and now the team is going to have to focus on the Orisa. Lunar backed into a corner, not a place you want to be. Even if you have great shots, it's still not going to work out when you're being held down in the corner by a tank. Ashton finding the dynamite on Speed Glasses. Boom goes the dynamite, and boom goes that round to Kansas.
Yeah, KU did a spectacular job there towards the end, as they're able to kind of get back into the flashpoint there, and also cornering Lunar's really good play there by KU, and able to take out one of the better players for the Orangemen.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens next as these teams fire each other across the bridge. M3 and Co working their way forward. Let me guess, this is Azer in the face of the opponent. He does that well, but maybe not a great map awareness well, as he's going to fall down right there is Speed Glasses. M3 has the ultimate as they work their way into this flashpoint, trying to take control. Going to get about a quarter of the way there initially, but the contest comes in from KU. Dashing all over the place, healers doing their job, lots of maximum health there. M3 gonna fall though, so that's gonna make it a lot harder on the side of Syracuse. Speed Glasses with some headshots right there. 2 in his face though, gonna get stuck right there. Backing up, Kiriko coming in, doing her due diligence to heal up her teammates. So far, so good, but 2 are going to fall, and it's going to be the 2 you'd hate to see fall for Syracuse. Lunar and Azer, the point's going to go to KU.
Yeah, and both of them fell from Ashton, who's been absolutely tremendous for KU. And that's the kind of stuff KU wants to see out of their guys. When your best guys are beating their best guys, usually 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to pick up a win.
Yeah, Ash playing great. The ultimate in the back pocket. Ashton playing Ash. 2 right there for Syracuse. They're coming back. They're not even letting me fill time. They're going to find 4. And looking so far so good. Ashton able to trade 1, but now backed into a corner, and we know how that goes. Syracuse with a team kill, taking control of the point and getting back into this 62%. Not great for an initial break. You want a lot more than that, closer to 80. We've seen 99 in this map particularly, so 62 definitely beatable.
Absolutely. Syracuse, huge team kill there. They knew, hey, if KU gets this flashpoint first and we're going to get in there second, we are going to want to make sure we do it and give ourselves some percentages to spare, and they absolutely did that. They're almost, they're halfway there now, and they're almost level with KU.
5 down in the feed for Syracuse. Another team kill, something we saw KU do really well in map 2. Nothing since. They got 1 in this one so far. I believe that was 4, and Azer stayed up and waited for his team. But regardless, you've now taken the lead if you're Syracuse, and looking really well. Azer coming in with the Dragon Blade, gonna find 1 with the help of his teammates. Speedglass is gonna be traded out though. M3 falling to Ashton, who has been the KU team so far. He's gonna fall though. Lunar doing his job. Syncs working, thinking working, and now KU comes in a crucial point, getting much, much closer to that 100-point threshold. And Syracuse are just W keying forward. They need to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something we didn't really see in these last 2 matches. KU coming back and getting that to 99% the second time around. And here they are trying to do their best to defend this. We are in overtime now.
Yeah, overtime going to reset as Syracuse able to get in there for a second. Outnumbered 3-1 in the point as that time is fading fast. 99, 94, all down for Syracuse. KU looks like they're going to take this one, and they're up 2-1 as we go to the next flashpoint. This map getting longer and longer by the second.
Yeah, the tables have turned. Syracuse, this really has been a heartbreaking round. They went up 1-0 after a tremendous comeback, down 99-0, and they came back in the second round and in the third round after having taken the second breach. And last time, KU only got 62.
Exactly.
As composed to 99, and that time KU was able to come back and get a team kill to call it a day.
Let's take some inventory as we get in this fight here. You got both supports with the ultimate abilities, so maybe enabling the tank with the rush right there, and they're going to work their way in using that ultimate out of Saint. Super, super underrated ultimate in this game. 2 down, Lunar pulling out the Orisa as well. So we got Orisa on Orisa, similar to the Ash on Ash we see. So Speedglasses and Ashen this time working against each other. Team kill for Syracuse. They're taking this initially. How will Kansas respond?
No, that was exactly what Syracuse wanted to do. Lunar and Azer working and taking out My Dog Died and Ashton immediately. You kind of had a feeling team kill was going to come right there when the 2 best players were down. And KU, they're going to have to get back into this and keep on using some speed here.
Working around a corner here, keeping them into their spawn, but KU utilizing height to try to get behind them. Orisa ultimate not going to work out. My Dog Died and Ashton combining for 2 as KU takes some map control right here, eventually getting into the flashpoint. Syracuse fully on the retreat, maybe waiting for their teammates to respawn and try to get something here. Long range Ash from Speedglasses. If anybody can hit the shots, it's Speedglasses, but not not going to be able to right there as they try to play this fight from distance, and KU has all the control they want.
Well, Braden, you asked me what is it that KU had to do. That's exactly what they had to do. After Ashton and My Dog died, take the loss from Azer and Lunar, they came back and just revenged them immediately, and they're able to get into that flashpoint and start gaining some percent. Only 58 from Syracuse in that initial take, so kind of what you mentioned last round with KU, not exactly what you want to see, but we'll see if Syracuse can dig deep and get back in here.
Genji, great shuriken hits as he goes and is going to bash forward. Another Dragon Blade, one ultimate ability we've seen extremely effective today, but still not able to take down the Orisa. Orisa does not want to go down, even with 2 on them, and eventually going to fall right there. Saint playing that support role, helping out, and now you got about 84 if you're KU. About 20 behind is Syracuse, so by the time KU spawns up and gets to the point, if Syracuse doesn't push out too far, it's going to be a tied game, and then who knows what happens from there. But again, it's all about this corner. They have the high ground. Orisa taking that corner with the minigun that they have, and Saint helping the teammates go forward. Now Lunar's pushing up. Lunar enthralled by his team, going crazy, getting the shots right there, and Syracuse got to be careful not to get too aggressive here. The damage looks good. However, when your tank goes down, the entire map could open up. Not going to matter, though, as they kind of distracted them right there, let the point fully tick, and now it's a 2-2 game.
Yeah, it could come down to this for Syracuse, for the Orangemen. They could be able to pick up this victory, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do that as we watch Speed Glasses here coming in around this corner.
This is a wild one. It is getting warm in the booth as we are tied at 2-2 here. Going into the next flashpoint, and KU has the positioning they want. Again, just peeking some corners, trying to get some shots in. Is Lunar able to find some stuff there? Gonna try to heal up and eventually try to work with his team to take over this flashpoint that Kansas has called home as of now. So you do have 2 ultimates, as you mentioned right there, and there is one from Lunar. Lots of damage across the board. Azer finding 3 and cleaning them up. Saint gonna find 1. That's 4, and that is the capture for Syracuse University. Only 30 points for Kansas. Really disappointing.
No, absolutely. Really disappointing out of Kansas. Syracuse able to get that takeover while KU only had 30. That's the lowest of anyone this round so far. So we'll see if they can do that. But earlier on when you were talking about Lunar using his ultimate just before that team kill, what I saw out of Saint was really using those heals, getting his team back up there, and we'll see what Syracuse can do here.
Yeah, Ash gameplay going crazy with some long-range shots, but Kansas coming in here doing thinking things with that ultimate. We saw his play of the game earlier, and there's another team kill. So lots of team kills going back and forth, and while 30 is disappointing, after getting a team kill, 50 is certainly disappointing. Saint across the map, do it yourself, King, as he has that ultimate ability ready probably for this next rush as we begin
Speed
tied.
Glasses in a second here.
Exactly. They're going to work their way in. There is the rush that's going to enthrall those teammates with even more damage, even more healing. And you got that Dragon Blade ready for Azer as well. We know what he can do, but he has to stay alive, able to deflect that damage, able to bash his way out of that. But up close and personal is Speed Glasses. Too little, too late for him. He's going to fall as well as M3. Ashton and Swirl taking over. Ashton in the kill feed. Thinking helping as well. And that is a team kill. This time for Kansas. They have 70. They need to get to 92 to tie, 100 to win.
Oh, what a close game this one has been. Team kills back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. KU with 85% now building up. Can they take over Syracuse on that 92? And can they get up to 100? Syracuse really going to have to run into this takeover here and see if they can do their best.
Coaching staff looking a little stressed on the stage, but the guys look locked in, closer to the monitors as they prepare for this final fight in overtime. Not going the way of theirs right now. Speedglass is able to find Swirlhawk for compensation, but that's going to go the way. Kansas, we're going to map 5.
We are going to map 5, and here it is.
Yeah.
5, 2-2.
Correct.
What does Syracuse have to do to come out with this victory?
I mean, you got the team kills, and you seemingly had position as we look at thinking back-to-back plays of the game with this Dragon Blade, really slicing and dicing his opponent, but specifically, I was very impressed with the Syracuse break on that last hill about the first time they did it. Coming across that bridge, you had Kansas pretty much set up how they wanted. They had initial time on that point, and you got the team kill. And then what do you do with it? You got about 50 points in response to their 30. So technically, off the break, it is better in theory, but however we saw how it ended, certainly a close map. Can't get much closer than 5 rounds on Flashpoint, but overall, I need the supports to continue to heal up those tanks. I need DPS to take some routes and take over. Azer is the captain of this team for a reason. He's great in clutch scenarios. We've seen him pop off earlier today. What's he going to be able to do in this map 5 is the question I have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, one thing we saw in that last round, in that final moment where KU was able to get that flashpoint, just before that we talked about the team kills, but really, really disappointing fifth flashpoint there, because Syracuse had all the momentum. I mean, KU came in, only got 30 points on there. Syracuse came back, got up to 92 pretty quickly. It was a back-and-forth game, and in the end, it kind of came down to who gets the last team kill. Yeah. And that's literally what it came down to in the end. So, as you mentioned, with Azer, and I'll even throw Lunar in there as well, your guys who have been performing this game are going to have to perform, but Azer really is going to need to lead this team to victory here.
All the players on the stage are looking one direction, and that is over towards the coach and captain side of thing. Azer talking to his team, looking pretty relaxed, knows what he has to do, and ready to get back into it here. Fist bumps going. Sneaky delivered his message. Now he has to wait and see what his team implements. Very, very vocal and very active in between maps and trying to hype his team up for a very, very important map. When you're either of these teams, you want to start off with a win. You want to start 1-0 in the spring semester. That's obviously extremely important. And especially when you're playing a good team like both of these are, so evenly matched, you want to come out on top of that and kind of have that game in hand. If any upsets happen, you want to have a safety blanket in this head-to-head matchup. And both of these teams are going to be on upset watch the rest of the season, just because of how close this game has been.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, when games come down to a game 5, I mean, this is going to be a point in the season that Syracuse will look back on. How did they start their spring semester? They came down, they were in the lead 2-1, then they lost that lead, they lose Flashpoint, it's 2-2, you're going into game 5. This next map is going to be something they will look back on, and I'm sure that the coach will talk about as season progresses. Now it depends what they want to do, how they're going to write the story of the beginning of their second semester. Are they going to say, hey, look, we went in, we played a really good KU team, and unfortunately fell short in the end? Or they're going to be able to come back and look back and say, hey, we played KU, we battled adversity, we were down team fight all the way to the end, and we want to pick up that win, especially going into the game against Ohio State next week.
How about the resilience from Kansas, dropping map 1 to technical forfeit, having to sub in a player, and able to continue to battle? Not only in each of these maps has it been so back and forth and one-sided where we thought we could call it for one team and then the other team comes out on top, but just having that mental fortitude to come in and be disappointed, have the players who didn't have the technical issues have to sit there and get iced themselves, just as these Q's players did. And now we're going into map 5 where we've seen very different executions out of all these teams. It's looked like Syracuse, it's ugly. They're getting team killed, and then we're seeing the same thing on the opposite side. So obviously I hope we see the best from both of these teams going into this map 5, but at the same time, it's been such a close series, but I don't think either one of us can say that we can rule out a blowout in map 5, you know?
No, absolutely not. I'm pretty sure Ashton and my dog died heard exactly what I said going into the start of that last round when I said I haven't been impressed by them. My bad. They came back and were
You weren't familiar with their game.
No, I was not. They were fantastic. I mean, they literally had a player drive to the facility in the middle of this match.
Exactly.
And here they are. So when you want to talk about resilience and dedication to the game, KU has definitely shown that. and we'll see what's going to come from it in this map 5. Going to be a crucial one.
Exactly. It's going to come down to this to set the tone for the rest of the semester. Be a big seeding match for Vegas at the end of the year. Of course, every team here in the PEC is going to qualify for that playoff. It's just based on your seeding and what teams you want to come up against early on. I know Syracuse certainly had this one marked on their calendars. Sneaky said this was a big wake-up call for them, one that they really wanted back from the fall semester. And certainly don't want that same tone, that same message this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking, as you mentioned, really, really quickly talking about it, Q's wants to get high seeding because one of the teams that's going to be up there for sure is going to be Oklahoma, and that could be a matchup that we see. And Syracuse is probably just going to hope that either they have a fantastic season and Oklahoma does too, and they meet them there early on, or they have a good enough season where they're ahead of Oklahoma. That's going to be the goal.
100% as we prepare the defenses here. Going to see Widowmaker, and Azer is going to be on that Tracer. Right now, Ashton countering with a Widowmaker. You wonder if once he sees that Tracer on the map, if they go ahead and tango again as Tracers. But Azer, we said he needs to take over. He needs that ice, and he's opting for the Tracer right now to try to stop this payload and take it for his team. On the defense first, as we mentioned here, Lunar, again, not a very sustainable hero pick in terms of Winston, but they're going to start off with it to play defense. Winston going to back up there. Here comes Tracer right in your face, but Ashton able to use that sniper to the best of his ability. Let's see what Speed Glasses can find. Definitely the sharpshooter on this team. A big pick. It would be a big pick if he could find something here.
Absolutely. I mean, Speed Glasses was fantastic earlier on in that map too, finding those corners, finding those pockets, just making those fantastic kills, and we'll see what he and company can do in this map.
Not a great start from Syracuse. In fact, just looking up from the monitor, Azer patted himself on the chest after falling right there, as to say, that's my bad play. Again, great leader and great captain. We need him to take over here if you're a Syracuse fan, and I'm sure he will. Lunar getting some consistent damage right there, going to chase his counterpart and find the kill. Speedglass is also able to help. Lunar and Azer combining for another one on Swirl. So that's going to be 3 down, and Syracuse able to once again reset with about 2.5 on the clock here as that payload slowly starts to work backward.
No, absolutely. That has got to be a terrifying sight for Swirl there when Azer and Lunar are right around you and firing on you there.
Exactly. So Speedglass is playing up top and removed a little bit from the play, as does a good Widowmaker. But Lunar right up in the face, and we've seen the Winston v. Winston kind of replicate that Tracer v. Tracer from earlier, and Lunar's Winston is just winning everything. Azer going to find a melee kill on Sinks, who appears to be on the Brig this time, so a little bit of a bigger support player. As Azer, again, getting in your face as the Tracer, as the Winstons go back and forth, thinking gonna fall. Thinking certainly has takeover ability, as we've seen, so definitely want to keep an eye on him as he reaches the 90% mark on that ultimate that has killed so many Syracuse players this evening. But Lunar, been the MVP so far today. Ashton able to counter that as he takes away his biggest rival in Azer, but Lunar really, really doing well.
All 5 ultimates right now for SU. Let's see if they're going to be able to use them wisely.
Exactly. M3 on Brig. There goes one in Lunar. So that's getting popped. The Primal Rage that we've seen so effective, trying to take out the Widowmaker. He will. And now he is back to that default Winston, but certainly not one to attack, as he has been winning every fight seemingly. Azer having his ultimate ability, so you're going to see 3 of those 5s get popped right there. Speedglass is going to use his, so the Syracuse players effectively right now have walls. They're able to see where all of these players are because of Speedglasses, and Azer just trying to break this shield of the opposing Winston and help out his own as they go in that fight. But we're going to see Lunar fall. We're going to see Saint fall, M3, and I'm just naming the entire Syracuse roster at this point, as Speedglass is able to get out and up with his life. But for all intents and purposes, a team wipe right there for Kansas.
Yeah, pretty much. And not only do they get that team wipe there, they've got 2 players who are pretty much over halfway to getting their ultimates. They already have 2 with them. So Swirlhawk, and if we know anything about Ashton, he'll be getting his ultimate very, very quickly here.
Exactly. Azer holding on to his. It's going to be interesting to see if he just flanks around and uses that as we've seen him do earlier today. He's just going to do that without the ultimate right now, or if he's going to wait for his team to get it once again. A 5-stack of ultimates. Pretty rare. I don't think we've seen it at all tonight with this team, but Azer eventually going to pop it as I'm talking about that, and shooting in every direction, having 2 on him, but no worries right there. Lunar taking over! He wants this game 5 more than anybody else, it seems, and Speed Glasses able to combine with a couple of his teammates to kill My Dog Died, take that tank off the map. And now this Tracer's getting a little bit annoying, lower health, but it is Ashton, so you know the movement and IQ is there, able to get out with his life. Lunar and co. taking some high ground, resetting, trying to get all of these doors off. Ana firing bullets across the map, seeing what they can get started here.
Absolutely. I mean, Saint's been a crucial part of this Syracuse team, especially since the start of the season, but especially in this game right now. And we'll see if Syracuse and company can pick it up. Lunar getting 2 right
Big
there.
2. And Primal Rage in the corner. 5 for Lunar, and he cannot go bigger as Saint and co. able to clean up. Azer's in his spawn, but he's going to be coming back and making a difference close to his ultimate. Saint going to have that ability as well as the support player playing the front lines right now, checking both those doors, waiting for Kansas to come on out and play. Now, they have over half of the length covered. However, you only have a minute on the game clock. So, gonna see what Saint and co. can do here. Helping out Lunar has been so essential, as you can hear from our voices. But there, Winston is not taking kindly to that. Dropping theirs, My Dog Died and sinks, working as a pair, moving forward. Azer able to escape and actually get behind them here, but Winston, again, getting on that payload, just kind of playing desperation Overwatch, making sure it's moving in the direction they want, and Ashton able to find a melee kill on Azer, who, again, that Tracer v Tracer duo, Ashton has come to the party.
Yeah, absolutely. Ashton's been absolutely crucial this game. I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier. Those are your 2 big dogs of this game, Ashton and Azer, and Ashton's just been spectacular on Tracer. And seems like in this round so far, getting the better of Azer so far.
This is definitely a momentum-altering moment right here as Syracuse, it seemed they've done so good and gotten some team kills and really had the defensive positioning they want, but they're close to having the payload end up in their spawn, and Speed Glasses low health, but Azer eventually able to use that ult and work with the Winston. However, Ashton gonna counter that. Azer, and it's going back and forth between the Tracers in the kill feed. Brig backing up with that shield, getting cornered, gonna fall, and Saint will as well, so you're short-staffed if you're Syracuse right now, but the payload is not moving in your spawn quite yet. Lunar and Azer going huge as the last 2 members up for their side, and now you have a second to breathe.
Absolutely. I mean, that is what Coach Nuki talked about before the game, is the fact that they are calm and they are composed, and especially when whenever you get those moments where you can breathe and when you can sit back and chill for just 2 seconds, those moments are really what champions are made of right there.
Not too much space to work with if you're Speed Glasses and co. You have that ultimate so you can really rein in on some of these players flying all over the place, but not able to do much when you're under half health. And he's going to need some help right there. The payload, 4 players on it, now down to 2. But the Winston is in your face. Brig able to deploy that shield and stay up for just a little bit longer. But still, the payload's moving. You're running out of space, but they're running out of time. So if Lunar and co. Oh my goodness, Lunar's going to go to sleep in the middle of the ultimate. Not too good right there. Speed Glass is able to keep up, though. Match time is going to be done. It's going to come down to these fights. So far, so good for Syracuse. So far, so good for Syracuse, as they're going to find it and just barely look like they're going to get away with this one. However, we have the Wrecking Ball. He's going to give up right there as overtime runs out, but that Wrecking Ball, just a little bit of a wrench thrown in against Syracuse. Ultimately, too little too late, but wow, was that close. Wow, am I ready to sit down and take a sip of water.
Yeah, no, a lot just happened there in those dying embers of that match. But overall, outstanding performance from KU and Nat. I mean, really working as a team together, getting those team kills, pushing back Azer, and also pushing back Lunar as well. Heading on to this next one, I mean, we're really gonna have to focus as working together as a team, but also making sure all aspects of your team are working. Your supports are working. Your DPS is working. Excuse me, and your tanks are working as well.
Ultimately, the Syracuse need to push it all the way practically, as you got 82 on the board right now to win this one. And is there going to be enough time? If you get team kills on attack, that does definitely seem good, as you have more time to stack up and push up and maybe get in those positions. But if there's one thing we've seen really, really well out of Kansas today, it's been the defense. So how does
Absolutely.
Syracuse counter that?
Absolutely. I mean, Syracuse is going to have to do a couple different things. Number one, as I mentioned, Azer and Lunar. They are going to be your two main guys in this, especially if Ashton's going to be on Tracer. You're really going to have to do your best to eliminate him as much as possible.
And away we go as they start getting on the payload here, working towards the spawn of Kansas. The grapple going to go up top. Lunar not going to be, or excuse me, that's going to be Speedglass is not going to be able to find anything off the bat. Here is Lunar on the payload, playing that Winston, watching above. Is that a Diva? I see it is, and we're going to need to see what she's able to bring to the party. She's going to be sleeping right now because of Saint, but Saint is eventually going to fall. Lunar losing health there. Don't want to go 3 down if you're Syracuse. Certainly don't want to go 4 down, and it looks like that might happen. Lunar falling a little bit later, but not a great start if you're Syracuse.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. That's what I just mentioned before, what Ashton and company we're going to have to do, and taking down Speedglasses there and taking down Lunar is a big part of that.
All right, M3 and company resetting. They're getting projectiles thrown at them right off the bat, but nothing that the Brig Shield can't handle right there. And they have the high ground now, so there's a little bit of distance between these teams. Nothing too crazy yet, and Lunar says enough of that. We want a fist fight, and so he heads over in there, gets some attack on Lunar and Co. Anna going to put him down for a nice little nap, and eventually backing up. All members other than Speedglasses are up and relatively healthy. However, you're still versing 5 very, very talented players in Kansas. So far, the defense wins championships, and it's been winning them this game so far, as they have the high ground. And again, Lunar's going to really need to make a hero play here, maybe with some support from his teammates, but really, Winston bashing forward is going to be the only way you're able to get something done. Able to get a significant amount of damage on the Anna, but going to eventually back up. Still, having Diva up top is going to be an issue. Diva's going to fall asleep right here, and that's a really big opening. Lunar opting not to go for the damage right there and just try to get the positioning. Eventually going after the Anna in question, finding one on Sinks. But Ashton going to drop Speedglasses. My dog died finding one. Lunar finding one, as it's a flurry of kills back and forth. But Ashton has that takeover ability, that absolute team leader on their side, especially in the stat sheet. Going to find the decisive kill there, and we're going to need to reset for Syracuse right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Syracuse really has to do their best in these moments, especially in a Game 5 when they didn't have the best Game 1 of this map, and they're really gonna have to do their best to try to go here and get a couple team kills, get the momentum going.
Battle's coming in here, Anna with a little bit of extra health, but eventually gonna fall. So that's 2 big ones, but immediately traded. Thinking with the thinking move, which has been that Dragon Blade, just absolutely decimating Syracuse every time it's popped, but eventually the numbers advantage is going to go to Syracuse. Azer on that Tracer, you can never count him out, but if there's anybody who can rival him, it's certainly Ashton with that Tracer as well.
Absolutely. Let's see if Syracuse can get this first payload here. They are just 1.2 meters away from getting it here.
Exactly. Lunar looking to take over a really big 3-piece right there. My dog died fighting back with the Diva, able to boost forward, but eventually Tracer's so slippery, especially with Ashen, and My Dog died still staying up and eventually falling right there, not only out of the Diva mech, but also Diva herself. As Lunar and Co. able to continue to escort this payload, you got 2.5 left on the clock. and now you're finally starting to go fast past that first checkpoint, and you're getting even more kills, and the ultimates are looking good. You got 2 out of Azer and Speed Glasses, definitely 2 players who know how to use them. Speed Glasses, excuse me, going forward as it's just constant engagement all over this map. Kansas eventually backing up, but utilizing these door frames to their advantage. They know Syracuse has to come to them, and it's a lot harder when Diva's rushing out of the door at you.
Absolutely. I mean, KU's really been fantastic all season long, and especially all day long at their defense, excuse me, and that is something we're really going to try to see out of them here. But Syracuse has been doing a fantastic job over these last few minutes here.
Diva cornered, Diva falling, Ashton trading. That seems to be the theme of this game so far. Wow. 3 big ones, including thinking on Lunar, and that's a really, really big one. You're starting to get down to desperation time if you're Syracuse. You got a minute and a half on the clock. Need to reach that second checkpoint at least, and then still have quite a ways to go. As we reset and get ready for this next battle here, who do you think is going to go big?
Yeah, I mean, look, like I mentioned all game long, we are really going to be looking at Azer and Lunar and at my dog, Dad, and Ashton, but also thinking, I mean, he's been spectacular all game long, and especially in this map here, he's been tremendous.
All right, Diva finding one right there. One of the rare Diva kills we've seen so far in this one, as the mech just going to continue to eat damage from the opposing team. Lunar and Azer fall, so now you have under a minute here, and you're going to need to work together as a team through these doors that are so difficult to get through. We saw Syracuse, for the most part, succeed with it on their side. Maybe just waiting for ultimates. You got 4 of the 5. Again, stacking these up, but you're going to be walking into 4 of the 5 regardless. We're going to see how these ultimates come into play in this one. That Primal Rage has been so effective. Not going to use it here. Now he will, and he's ripping through the top of that fighter jet, looking for kills, not able to find anything, and his health is fading fast. Technically, great for getting them off the high ground, but a bit of a wasted ultimate out of Lunar in terms of the kill feed. Speedglass is using his as well. And now it's on the retreat. St. Anna all alone. Now all alone in her spawn. And guess what, Alex? Thinking did it again. Thinking took the Dragon Blade and cut Syracuse down, as that is unfortunately going to be it for the Orangemen.
Yeah, KU, an absolutely spectacular game on defense. And look, if pressure makes diamonds, Ashton has been Bruno Mars, 24-karat magic all game long. I mean, he was spectacular. And, yeah, we talked a little bit about thinking as well, too. He did a fantastic job. And really, you mentioned earlier what it come down to today. Defense wins championships, and they were absolutely spectacular. So even if at moments they couldn't match up with Syracuse on the dive competitions, they could on everything else, and especially on defense.
Absolute tremendous games today, as we saw a few players really take over. Azer being one, Lunar being one, Speed Glasses was great, and obviously it's the supports helped out. But I think on the opposite side of things, it was Ashton. Ashton was everything. My dog died, played a really good tank and got in the opponent's face when needed, but Ashton was absolutely ultimate, especially on the Tracer. As we look at the faces of these Syracuse players, still taking instruction, taking notes. It's a nail-biting defeat in that one. And we'd just like to thank the crowd for coming out. It's a late night. It's, I mean, I got class in the morning. I'm looking forward to that.